yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
The bombing of Pearl Harbor marked the first ever attack on American soil. This prompted President Franklin Delano Roosevelt to sign Executive Order 9066 just 10 weeks later on February 19, 1942. This order legally allowed the government to force all persons of Japanese descent from their homes into relocation camps, more commonly known as internment camps, which were located in desolate wastelands throughout the interior of the United States. On March 18, 1942, a new government agency was created to control all aspects of Japanese internment and used heavy amounts of propaganda to convince the United States internment was morally good and should be supported. This agency was called the War Relocation Authority, or WRA. This agency used heavily biased and authorized photographs to show only positive photos of internment. These images had to be authorized by the WRA for public release and showed Japanese persons smiling, working jobs, children attending school, and enjoying leisurely activities such as sports. Unauthorized pictures of the camp included the showing of fences, guards, guard towers, and guns. Days after the WRA was established, roughly 110,000 Japanese persons, which equated to 90% of the Japanese population in the United States, were forcefully removed from their homes and sent to one of 10 internment camps. On top of the propaganda being spread by the WRA, Hollywood also released propaganda pieces. One of these in particular is the film Little Tokyo, USA. This film takes place before the bombing of Pearl Harbor and shows the American people should feel justified in the expulsion of the Japanese from the western coast. This movie portrays the Japanese as evil and untrustworthy spies that are a danger to American society. The movie opens with the antagonist of the film, Ito Takemura, played by American actor Harold Huber, who is seen in Tokyo, Japan, meeting with a Japanese army general.
You are a resident of Los Angeles, California, an importer, a citizen of the United States?
I was born in the United States and consequently enjoy the privileges of citizenship. But as you know, I am pledged to the service of the Son of Heaven, our Emperor.
That is the case with many. The end of the white man's domination.
The end of the white man's domination.
The next scene consists of an American Nazi named Marston and a group of prominent Japanese business owners who reside in Little Tokyo. Marston smuggles military plans to the Japanese through Red Cross donation boxes. The Japanese then relay the smuggled information to Tokyo, Japan, via fishing boats. It's important to note that newspapers published during this era actually had articles written about Japanese fishing boats spying on California from the harbors, even though this was never proven to be true.
Oh, Mr. Marston. I see you have added contribution to Red Cross box.
That's right. Photographs of the tail section plans.
Mr. Marston, very patriotic American of German extraction. This is Mr. Takamura, who is in complete charge of our collaborative efforts on Pacific Coast.
Heil Hitler!
To the new order.
At one point in the film, the protagonist, Detective Mike Steele, finds some kids fighting in the street. This leads Detective Steele to believe in the existence of aspiring and ultimately leads him to investigate Little Tokyo.
Cut it out. What's going on here?
I sure if the Japs are gonna take over California. Let me at it.
Now, take it easy, Jimmy. Who said anything about the Japanese taking over California?
He did, didn't he, fellas?
He said they'd take over by Christmas.
What about that, Suma? Did you say anything like that?
Yes, and it's true, too.
What makes you think it's true?
Because my father talks to Tokyo every night on the radio.
Oh, I see. Must be a big radio to do that.
It is. It takes up a whole room.
Boy, that is big.
Do you think the Japs can whip us, Mr. Steele? Do you think they're gonna take over California?
Well, I don't think they'll take it over without quite a fight. Now, you kids break it up. If I catch you fighting again, I'm gonna run you in.
Okay. I still say you ain't gonna take over nothing. That's what you
Now
think.
listen, I told you to cut it out. Now go on home. Go on, beat it.
Come on.
After Detective Steele begins investigating Little Tokyo, the father of the boy, Satsuma, shows just how far the Japanese spies are willing to go to protect their mission.
You are positive you saw Steele talking to my son again this afternoon?
Yes, he questioned him by the school. I could not hear what they said, but I saw them.
I imagine Mr. Steele will do some more investigating at your house very soon. Your son's fondness for talking is extremely dangerous.
An operation on his tongue will correct that fault. Permanently.
The next series of clips show the sequence of events that led to the bombing of Pearl Harbor. No Japanese person in the United States at the time had any information about the surprise attack. This entire sequence is purely fictional and was created to make the general public distrust the Japanese even more than they already did.
Heil Hitler. Heil Hitler.
To the new order.
Herman will switch over to shortwave in a few minutes. Tonight's wavelength will be 2710. What about the harbor movements?
2 cruisers and 1 destroyer left San Diego for Honolulu this morning. 1 aircraft carrier escorted by 5 destroyers left Los Angeles Harbor before sundown. From conversation of crew members in cocktail establishment and waterfront, their destination is Manila.
Relay that information to our boats. Where are they located?
There are 6. They're stationed 750 miles apart. Each is equipped with a powerful radio transmitter which assures a perfect relay to Tokyo. Also, they are in a position to observe many important naval movements. Their stupid complacency will aid our plans greatly. On a morning not so far distant, the United States shall receive a rude shock before breakfast.
President Roosevelt immediately called a special session of Congress for 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, upon being officially informed of the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor today.
The United States declared war on Japan this morning after Congress had listened to President Roosevelt's dramatic announcement of Sunday's cowardly surprise attack on Hawaii and the Philippines. Federal agents on the West Coast immediately ordered all dangerous aliens rounded up. Hey, Mike, the Japs have just bombed Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor? Are you kidding?
No, just come over the radio. All hell's broke loose. A surprise attack shattered a peaceful Sunday morning in Honolulu today when 300 Japanese bombers roared over Pearl Harbor, attacking military objectives and bombing residential and business sections of the city indiscriminately.
In March and April of 1942, after Executive Order 9066 was signed, and prior to the release of the movie, Japanese citizens began placing signs around their homes and businesses. These signs would say things such as, "We are loyal citizens," and "I am an American." This was done because there was a real threat of losing absolutely everything, and they did. The movie also portrays this, but it shows the members of the underground spy ring hanging these signs instead. No Japanese person was ever convicted of espionage or treason throughout the entirety of the war.
Citizens of our race wish only to dwell here in peace. Their loyalty to America is unquestioned.
Well, I'm certain of that.
The final speech in the movie perfectly summarizes everything set before it. It shows how the government and Hollywood synergized to make the American people believe they were justified in their behavior.
And so in the interest of national safety, all Japanese, whether citizens or not, are being evacuated from strategic military zones on the Pacific coast. Unfortunately, in time of war, the loyal must suffer inconvenience with the disloyal.
Don't forget this.
America's attitude toward this wholesale evacuation can best be summed up, I believe, by the last 4 lines of a poem by Robert Nathan entitled, "Watch America." God who gave our fathers freedom, God who made our fathers brave, what they built with love and anguish, let our children watch and save. Be vigilant, America.